The Cursed. This is the first movie I've had to go out and go to the bathroom for in a while. I really had to shit. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. We're the Continuity Crew. I'm Will.
My water bottle.
That's Win, and today we got a big feature film review for y'all for The Cursed, directed by Sean Ellis. This is in 19th century France, and a mysterious goings-on happens with they're trying to take over some gypsy land, and then they get cursed.
Yeah, pretty much. It's basically like the old, what do you call that? The English people came to America
And killed all the Native Americans.
Yeah,
And
it's basically like that.
And that's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. It is a very interesting take on, I guess, werewolves / like lichens, which I did not expect from the trailer. I mean, that might be spoilerish, but I mean, the poster can kind of give it away, sort of, a little.
Yeah.
Like I never saw the poster before you've even seen the movie, but like some guy I talked to said like, oh, the poster makes more sense now.
Yeah, it does.
So I really liked what they did with that. But we're changing it up here. We're doing our ratings first, and then we're gonna talk about the rest of the review. So subscribe if you want more ratings on movies, and like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So we do 2 ratings here. We do critical and entertainment. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. When, what do you give critically for The Cursed?
Give it a 6.
A 6?
Yeah. I really like the story. I like the twist, sort of. They talked about like the silver bullet. It was it made more sense.
Yeah, I like the storytelling.
This is not a German bullet.
Yeah, we'll talk more about all that in a second. I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Fair.
It's almost a 7, I'd say, but I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I did really enjoy this. I thought it was a really well-told movie, and I liked the storytelling. Quite enjoyed it. So, speaking of enjoyment, let's get to our entertainment rating. What do you say, Win?
6.5.
Solid.
I liked watching this guy, the detective or whatever his name was, like the one that looked like Robert Downey Jr. in some places.
The detective guy.
Yeah, he looked like a deep fake of like. I'm pretty sure he was in Logan. It looked like him. He sounded like him.
But I'm gonna give it an 8 for entertainment value. I thought the gore and stuff in this was top notch, and I don't think many movies do like gore like this one, like this good. So I really enjoyed that part of it. I also like the take they did on like werewolves and stuff. I always like stories like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it an 8.
So positive for once.
Yeah, because
like the last few videos that we've done, we were pretty negative.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about what we thought of The Cursed, goods, pros, and cons, and kind of explain our ratings. So let's start with some negatives for this. I'm interested to hear what like you didn't like about this movie, because I mean I've got a couple things too, but
it was strange because they had like an established town almost, and we get almost none of that. Like I feel like, if you have something like this, you have at least townspeople, like a kind of a volume to it at least, and they didn't really do that much.
There's not much like. There are like townspeople, but we're never like in that town.
No,
per se. There's really only like 2 locations: the woods and their house.
Yeah, and we saw the kids playing with the other kids, and that didn't make sense to me because it was like
that's the part where I went shit because I didn't see that part.
Yeah, they were just playing around, and we just cut to it, and I was like, where is this? What is this? I'm assuming this is like the town, but I thought it was at like their backyard or some shit like that. But no, it was like. It was like that was the town. I feel like we could have gone a little bit more of that. Maybe like an establishing shot of the whole place. Give us like
more establishing of the setting and like characters and stuff like that. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think some just I guess negative things, and then we'll get to the good. I was never really hooked in this movie. I feel like it took a second to get off the ground essentially, even though like it starts pretty heavy hitting, like you're start with like the nomad's land, like with the World War, I guess probably one.
No.
And that's, I was like, huh, this is interesting. I wonder where we go from here. But like it never felt like it really took off until later in the movie. And I understand setting stuff up and all that, but I was never hooked into the movie and really cared. I will say I was like on my phone most of this movie, and I was in the theater. I still really liked the movie, but it just was never really like attached to any of the characters or anything. So there was no moment that I was like, oh no.
There wasn't a moment where you just like, I care about this a lot.
Yeah. And that's honestly I think the only thing for me. I like the characters, but there wasn't much development in them. So, But any other negatives before we get to the good?
The family itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, actually no. This one I remember very particularly well. The goddamn writing in like the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a cut. So this is like in the very first half of the movie. There was a cut where the character, the daughter, arrived on their original house
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, and it shot away, and it was the boy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "I have your book," and then for some reason she replies with, "Hey, that's my book. Give it back."
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would say I would agree with that. The writing is kind of lacking in a few spots, and then maybe that's also why no performance really took me in or anything. But
There wasn't anything to move it. Like it was
Yeah.
just like, okay, you're gonna say it back, and then we're just gonna go. They could have just like, I don't know, had the kid like, "Hey, here's your book," and then she's like, "Hey, come back, give me the book back." Like that's more entertaining than "That's my book." Then run back. So,
but yeah, I'd say the writing's a little but I think for a horror movie, it's not half bad.
it's not. It's upper level in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Some now to some like pros. I already mentioned it, but the gore that really stuck with me. Like the violence in this movie, they didn't like stray away from anything. I really enjoyed it. I will say I really want to see some of this guy's other movies. It looks like he does mostly horror movies, and I thought this was really good. I want to see more from him in the future as well. I really like that it's introduced me into a new director, Sean Ellis, because I haven't seen any of his other stuff. Maybe it's all bad and this is his first good one, but I still want to see it because I thought he handled the horror atmosphere. The atmosphere of this movie is really good. I really liked that. I felt like I was in it, even if I was on my phone. I did really like everything that was put on the screen.
And I like that I think this is also a kind of a lore in that area, because I think Sherlock Holmes, the TV show with Benedict Cumberbatch, they explored the same thing, except in that one it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna it's just a bunch of people just to scare them and all that stuff, and a lot of people were drugged, or like the smoke had some drug in it, and you had to cover it so that you wouldn't get poisoned or whatever. And that basically killed them. But in this one, it's like, oh, yeah, these are actual people just turning into monsters. Oh, and I like the transition that they did, too, for the werewolf stuff, where the people are basically, the monsters basically created around them.
Yeah, and like
them.
the forest takes them. He was in Logan.
It was very imaginative. It reminded me a lot of Midnight Mass. That's a TV show on Netflix. They did something similar. Just to spoiler that show a little bit, basically there's vampires in that, but it's related to God and Jesus and the Bible, and like take the blood of Christ, and then it'll bless you or whatever, but instead it's the vampire's blood, and then it'll bless you and all that stuff. So yeah,
I
it's
still need to watch that. I won't, but I want
you should watch it. I think
I need to watch all that guy's stuff, like Haunting of Bly Manor and Hill House and that one.
That's his best. Midnight Mass is his best. Yeah,
I want it too, but like,
it's well written.
One scene that I think will stick with me, like just on the horror aspect of stuff, is like when they like burn down the gypsies like place. I was like not having any sound and just having that like, I guess, crane shot backing up, and like it was intense. I really liked that.
One thing I didn't like about that is the choreography with the people.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you were watching it,
it just feels so random and weird. It's like, where do I go now? Yeah.
No, a lot of them, like, was waiting for, like, the
so either get shot or, like,
Like, one lady was just, like, kept circling around.
Yes, I did notice
like,
that.
What the
Yeah, it was not the best choreographed, but that's okay. But yeah, I enjoy this movie. I would recommend it to any horror fans. I don't think it has much rewatchability.
I'll watch it.
I would say maybe with like friends, watch this one like at home. I would say wait for streaming if you're not the biggest fan of like horror movies, but if you do like them, go see it in theaters.
It's not that scary.
Yeah, it's
There's not a lot of like jump scares.
no.
You know.
Oh, and that makes a better horror movie.
Yeah, it does.
So, I did really enjoy it. But that's our review for The Cursed.
I like how they killed that dude in the scarecrow thing.
Yes, yeah.
That was really cool. Yeah, I thought that was like worth it. That sounds really weird, but I thought that was like a good way to torture someone.
Yeah. But that's our review. Like I said, for The Cursed. Thank y'all for watching. We've been the Continuity Crew. I'm Will.
I'm Briggs.
That's when. And thank y'all for watching. Like if you enjoyed, comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. We love movies. We love y'all. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.